Hello, everyone. Good evening. A very warm welcome to Post-Brexit Future, a new chapter and new business opportunities for the UK and Ukraine. My name is Andrew Robel, and I am the founding partner at Emerging Europe. Emerging Europe is a news community and intelligence platform which is focused on 23 countries of Europe. I am also the lead of Emerging Europe Advocates. So in October last year, the United Kingdom and Ukraine signed a comprehensive political, free trade and strategic partnership agreement. Among other things, the deal expected to secure continued preferential trade for businesses in both markets. The UK is already one of Ukraine's biggest trading partners, and today we're going to explore all trade opportunities, especially in the tech sector between Ukraine and the United Kingdom. So without further ado, I would like to start by inviting Taras Krykun, who is the Minister-Counsellor for Economic Affairs at the Embassy of Ukraine to the United Kingdom, to start with a few opening remarks to give us more information about the trade deal that the UK and Ukraine signed a few months ago. Taras, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrew. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Andrew, for introduction. And I would like to thank. Can you hear me? Because I hear some. I would like to thank Sigma Software for organizing today's event, and personally, Alexandra Gavarucha for putting her efforts to do that. So I'm really delighted to speak today alongside with Kerry Hallard, the Chief Executive for Global Outsourcing Association, and other distinguished speakers. So we're here today to talk about the opportunities of post-Brexit future, and more specifically to my topic about the opportunities the UK-Ukraine Strategic Partnership Agreement brings. and especially for tech entrepreneurs. I've been asked to prepare a short presentation about the history of our agreement. What does it give to us? How do you read this agreement? And what are the opportunities you have? So my presentation is about for 10 minutes, and I would like to ask, Kiev to switch the slides. I don't have the access. All right, so first of all, I would like to make a short recap where we are right now in terms of Brexit and this new chapter and new era. So as you all very well aware, at the beginning of last year, in January, the UK has left the EU, but the transition period has ended just recently on New Year Eve on 31st of December 2020. So from 1st January 2021, the UK has entered this new post-Brexit era of trade when it realizes its independent trade policy and builds new trade partnerships with its partners. We can go next. What does it mean in terms of all these agreements and trade deals? So from 1st January 2021, EU trade agreements no longer apply to the UK. As a member of EU, United Kingdom used more than 40 trade agreements covering more than 70 countries, including Ukraine-EU Association Agreement. So someone might ask, what happens if we don't have this agreement? What does it give? What does it mean to us? Well, first of all, it brings a lot of problems and can we go back? A lot of problems and troubles for existing partnerships and supply chains. It brings new tariffs, it brings extra paperwork, it immediately goes to means the rise of prices, and so on. So the main task for UK was to, we can go to the next slide, the main task of UK was to secure somehow the continuity in trade. This process was called also as rollover of trade agreements, where the UK tried to replicate agreements it had as EU member, and by striking new agreements and replicating the previous one. In some cases, this was not only technical work, the bespoke solutions were applied, like in Ukraine. So these new agreements, they bring us, they secure the preferential access and preferential treatment. So for this moment, the UK has already secured and agreed more than 60 agreements with more than 60 countries. Some of these agreements were already fully ratified, some provisionally applied, but in terms of Ukraine, our agreement is in force right now. We can go next. So we started this preparation immediately after the referendum on Brexit. In 2017, the consultation started. We had more than 35 rounds of consultations, and eventually, last October, the agreement was signed. And from January 1st, it's in force. You can go next. When you hear about the agreement, you can see some very nice. We can go. You can see. Can we go more? You can see how the politicians and involved people call it historic, landmark, new chapter, new era. What does it mean for us? Well, first of all, it strengthens the political and trade ties we have. It brings our relations to a new level, which we call strategic partnership level. It secures our trade, but what's important is the starting point even for further liberalization. So in a nutshell, for Ukraine, this agreement is the largest bilateral treaty agreement we have right now with one country. It covers goods and services, because not all the free trade agreements cover services and other areas as well. Immediately from this year, 98% of our goods will receive the free access to UK market. And in 2023, 100% of our goods will be with full access. We will have only 36 products covered by tariff rate quotas. We can go next. I don't want to stop a lot explaining the chapters in the agreement, what we have in agreement, but very shortly what you can find in the text. So in preamble, you will find most important facts about Ukraine and UK, like for us important points about the recognition of Russia's actions, commitments to enhance cooperation, and so on. In Title 1, we can find the general principles important for both countries, such as human rights, fundamental freedoms, principles of free market, and so on. Title 2 is about political dialogue and cooperation and field in foreign and security policy. Title 3 is about justice, freedom, security. It's about the mobility of workers, movement of people, the start of visa-free regime, and so on. Title 4 is probably the core of the text. It regulates trade, both goods and services. Title 5 is about economic cooperation in different spheres. We have 20 chapters and we regulate the spheres. Title 6 is about the financial assistance maybe provided by UK government to achieve this agreement. And Title 7 is about the institutions and bodies we have to oversee and implement the agreement. Okay, now probably the more important part for today's webinar is what about the IT? How do we implement it? How do we use the agreements when we talk about the IT services and tech technologies? We can go to the next slide and miss this one. Next one. So let's first of all discuss what are we talking about. Are we talking about the services or data? Of course, it's services. It was decided by WTO like 10 years ago that when you talk about IT and trade, we talk about trade in services. Sometimes, of course, it's goods. Can we go back? It's goods when we talk about the product or hardware. But mostly in terms of today's webinar, we will talk about the services. In the agreement, you will find the words as computer services or computer and related services. They cover all the services that our exporters and UK exporters can provide, and this is defined by United Nations classification. You can find it, or Google it, it's easy to find. So, next slide. What did UK and Ukraine agree on this trade in services and trade in services in IT sector? So we agreed to liberalize establishment and trade. This is very important, two words, establishment and trade, because when we talk about the liberalization in services, we talk about two main categories of these commitments, or we call liberalization, we call them commitments. It's about market access, how our suppliers enter the UK market and vice versa. When we talk about market access, we talk about that no restrictions may be applied if one country has already liberalized its market. And the second category of commitments is national treatment of suppliers. So once the supplier has entered the market, the other party cannot restrict it or cannot they cannot discriminate this supplier against its own suppliers. So that's very important for us that these two categories are in the agreement. We can go next. If you will open the agreement or try to work with the texts, or we call them schedules, you will find some very difficult, like, and for people who are not lawyers or who are not used to work with such types of documents, some different, like, scribblings, like you will see computer, mode 1, 2, none, bound, unbound, very difficult to comprehend probably. So just a couple of words, how do we treat these provisions? Next slide. When we talk about trade in services like IT outsource or software or something, or any other services, any type of services, there are 4 main types of their supply used by WTO, by all free trade agreements, including this agreement as well. So mode number 1 is cross-border supply, when you supply services to the customers on another territory. It's like telephone calls or architecture or whatever. The second mode is when you consume this service abroad. It's, for example, when you're a tourist or you receive some healthcare in another country. This is mode number 2. Mode number 3 is a commercial presence. It's when you establish a branch or subsidiary in another country and provide services using this branch. And mode number 4 is when you send your employee to go to another country and provide the service there, like doctor, teacher, or IT specialists sometimes. Okay, probably the most important slide here. What does this agreement mean in types of every type of this mode? Because when we talk about services, we need to take into account all these different types of modes we supply them. So, as you can see, all 4 modes have been liberalized. That means that both UK and Ukraine treat establishment and supply of these services the same way they treat their own suppliers. We do have some reservations on mode number 4, because the special economic needs tests must be done when we export this kind of services from Ukraine to UK. I would also like to draw attention of people who are working in this area and supplying services to both markets on other important provisions we have in the agreement. We have a separate article on computer services. We have a separate chapter on intellectual property protection, which is very important when you work in software. We also have a special chapter on dispute settlement, when you can be sure of any possible disputes you might have. And probably the last 2 slides I have is you can, for those who want to read themselves or to understand better what the agreement is about, you can find the text already on official websites in Ukraine and the UK. I would also like to draw your attention that we have a special hotline on the UK-Ukraine free trade area established by Ministry of Economy of Ukraine. You can find the email and phone here. And next slide, you always know that you can also go to the embassy. We are always happy to help you. We have a special mechanism within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Council of Exporters and Investors. And you can also go to our partners from British Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce or Export Promotion Office. So in a nutshell, that's what I wanted to tell you, and I would be happy to provide extra information for those who need them and share the presentation with you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Taras. You've given us a brief overview of what's waiting for us in the UK and also in Ukraine. I would like to remind everyone and note that this webinar and the virtual trade mission is organized by the Export Promotion Office of Ukraine, Sigma Software, and the Embassy of Ukraine to the UK, and it's supported by USA. So now what I would like to have a look at is actually the situation in the UK. So we have a fantastic guest today. This is Kerry Hallard, the CEO of the Global Sourcing Association, and also the chairwoman of the Global Technology and Business Services Council. Kerry, welcome.
Good evening, thanks for having me. Must say I'm very, very jealous of seeing that picture of people in the same room. So we've not been in the same room with working colleagues for, oh gosh, must be nearly a year now. So I'm very envious to see you sitting there together.
Yes, exactly. So Kerry, let's have a look at the situation in the UK right now. So we left the European Union, well, less than a month ago. Where do you see the tech industry in the UK? The IT, what do sort of tech companies or IT services buyers tell you when they speak to you? Where are we now?
Okay, so let's take a step back and look at what actually happened when the pandemic hit. So obviously a massive shock for everybody. It was a huge mobilization to have people working from home. And I think if we look at the response of both the global technology and business services industry, it was absolutely phenomenal how well all those organizations worked to have their people working from home. They didn't just keep the lights on for their customers in the UK and all around the world, they actually kept the wheels turning. So I think our industry, both global technology and business services, responded incredibly well. Trust and partnerships increased during the pandemic and continues to increase. The way that organisations partnered and collaborated with their partners around the world was absolutely phenomenal. And as a result of that, the industry's grown. So despite the pandemic, we saw, according to research that we've done, we did collaboratively with Everest Research, we saw a 1% growth in the industry over 2020, and we are predicting that the industry will grow between 3 and 5% in 2021. So a hugely positive story for the industry and huge prospects for the industry. As businesses, UK businesses, what they're saying to me is, these projects that they've had and they've been thinking about for 3 to 5 years, they suddenly had to make them happen and get them over the line. And because these digital transformation, these automation, these working from home, all of these things I've been thinking about happened overnight and happened successfully, they now have a huge appetite to drive more and more technology developments. So we're calling it a period of tech acceleration, and we believe the tech acceleration will continue at rapid speed. So a very, very positive response from the industry and hugely positive prospects for the industry as well.
And do you think that Brexit will have an impact on, on the industry as well, in any way?
Right, obviously, Brexit wasn't good news for our industry. We did a poll across our membership base the day before the referendum, and 80% of our community wanted to remain. There remains disappointment, obviously, that Brexit did happen. There was a slogan, which you might all be familiar with, from Boris Johnson, was, "Let's get Brexit done." The truth of the matter is that Brexit is not done. It's not close to being done. We have, I think it's either 25 or 28 working parties that are looking at negotiating key aspects of what Brexit is going to look like. So if we look at what the Brexit negotiations with the EU have focused on, it's been predominantly on goods. And the services sector has remained largely untouched. And given the size of the services industry, it's almost farcical that they've done very, very little with it.
Do you see opportunities or challenges in that context for the development of the sector, but also for a potential collaboration or cooperation with service providers from other countries?
Right, so the number one issue that we had it beforehand, and Brexit has absolutely accelerated that issue, is we don't have enough talent in the UK. So we will be looking at accessing the global talent pool to enable us to drive these digital transformations. Now, one of the things that we did when the pandemic hit and when we wanted to celebrate the success of our industry, we realised it was an opportunity to reposition the industry, to celebrate the industry, but also to paint a really positive future for the future of global technology and business services industry. So we reached out to a whole host of different industry associations around the world and said, look, I think this is an opportunity for us to not just look at our national approaches, but to actually look at the global response. Because there's a very real risk that because so many people all around the world, but certainly I know the situation in the UK, so many people have been furloughed. Unemployment has already, despite furlough, has already reached an all-time high. There's a huge desire, I guess, or feeling that we should become very protectionist and nationalistic in our employment approaches. But the reality of that situation is we don't have anywhere near enough skilled workers to do the work that we need to do in the digital transformation place. So part of the work that we've been doing in reaching out to those other industry associations, and we created something called the Global Technology and Business Services Council, which is an alliance of 12 of the industry associations around the world. It was really focused on the ongoing importance of the global talent piece and how countries should not become nationalistic and cannot afford to become nationalistic in their approach. So I'm an absolute firm believer that the UK is going to continue at an accelerated level need to access the global talent pool for technology. I think the figures are something like we've got a 65% requirement to upskill British workers to fulfill the requirements that we've got at the moment.
When you answered my first question, you said that there is an increase in trust, and I found it really interesting because it means that maybe British tech companies and British IT services buyers are now more trustful towards service providers from other markets. Do you see that as an opportunity for service providers from countries like Ukraine?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the UK has historically always been a very avid user of offshore delivery destinations and has always partnered with different countries around the world. That is going to continue unabated. I'm certain, very certain of that. And Ukraine has got a huge opportunity. It is it's a very talent-rich destination. It's a cost-effective destination, and it's near shore. And that is one of the things that I think we'll see is changing with major UK buyers. Is they're looking for building resilience, and they're looking for building a much more blended global delivery footprint. So it's not everything being off far shore. It's actually having a good blend of far shore and near shore. So yeah, Ukraine has every potential, and obviously with the agreement signed, every potential to increase its trading relationship with the UK for technology and business services. At the moment, I think I've been looking at the figures, it's pretty small. I think it's about 62 million is exported to Ukraine for business services, not just IT, for business services, but we're exporting closer to 25 billion to India. So as that rebalances and changes, you can see just how big the opportunity is. But my word of warning, and I've said this on a stage to Ukraine a number of times before, is you've got to really, really build your brand profile for the technology work that you actually do. So I know there's some really, really great companies, and I've seen a load of Ukrainian companies win at GSA awards, but I still don't think Ukraine makes enough noise about its potential to deliver technology services to UK companies.
Perfect. Thank you very much for this part. I'm going to invite the rest of the panel right now. So we have a wonderful group of companies, of Ukrainian companies, starting from software, developers to law firms. So around us, we have actually 4 people in the studio in Kiev, and the rest of us are joining from different places, across Europe, as it seems. So let me just introduce the rest of the panel. So I'll start with Dan Melnikov, one of the founders and COO of Corefy. If you could raise your hand so everyone knows. All right, there he is. We have Alexander Nikitin, the CEO of Tebin. There he is. Maria Skakun, Senior Associate, Head of Business Development at Avitar Group. She's in the studio as well. And so is Alexandra GenovaWebArt, International PR Lead at Sigma Software. And joining me online, Alex Lishun, Director, Client Engagement at AltexSoft, Pete Smith, VP of Sales for Europe at Innovecs, and finally, the last but not least, Arthur Kornienko, the founder and the CEO of GenovaWebArt. So I am going to start with Maria. I would like to ask you, about both what Kerry was saying about the opportunities in the UK market, but also about the trade agreement that Taras was describing to us earlier. Where do you see opportunities for the IT sector in Ukraine, for the tech sector in Ukraine?
Hi,
Where do you see opportunity? Sorry, let me just repeat the question. Concerning the trade agreement, which is a legal matter, actually, and also the opportunities that Kerry was talking about, where do you see opportunities for the tech sector in Ukraine or service providers out of Ukraine?
Yes, thank you for this question. I think that it is a huge opportunity for us to show this increasing level of Ukrainian services, and especially in tech industry, because Ukrainian people, we were always very creative, and it is the perfect moment for this cooperation of UK stability and Ukrainian creativity. From our perspective, for example, we are working day by day with the Ukrainian IT business, and we see this increasing level of all of the skill set, yes, that we have, and from the view of our company, it will be the very special moment to show the level of not only the development services in Ukraine, but also the legal services which we are providing.
All right, thank you very much. We have three large software companies here. We have Alexandra, we have Pete, and we also have Alex. I would like to hear from you where you see the opportunities for your companies. Alexandra, can we start with you?
Okay, let's start. Ukraine is really, as Maria said, is full of creative people, and we have around 200,000 developers, top-notch developers right now. And I see the good opportunity of connection with the UK market, considering Brexit and considering new ways of cooperation. Also, it's important that we have a lot of startups and startup initiatives in our country, and IT service companies work with startups and help them grow. For example, Sigma Software has around 20 partner products in our portfolio, and we help our clients by integrating ready products, not by building them from the scratch, and reducing their costs this way. Also, we share our vast business network with our customers and help them to find investors, help them to find clients, and so on and so forth. It's important to say that that for some people in the UK, probably they have their own perception of Ukraine as a post-Soviet country with not very good reputation regarding corruption or war. But these things are changing, and we work hard on building a new Ukraine, and with the help of tech people especially, because tech sphere is number 2 in Ukraine by export services right now. And I have to say that, first of all, young people in tech sphere are ready to work with Europe, with UK people. We have different mindset, and we have a strong connections with European people, and it would be great to build new bridges with the UK companies, with startups, with enterprises. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. You actually touched on one thing that I was going to ask later, which is the issue of that image of Ukraine. But we're going to come back to that in a moment. I wanted to ask Alex as well. What's his take on that?
Sure.
Alex from AltexSoft.
Yep. Thanks, Edgar. And thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone. A lot of great people joined this event. So I really loved the headline of Taras' slides, one of his slides, where it said "the new era." I believe that's a good term to use, because the great talent pool that Ukraine has can definitely bridge the gap between the need of the UK companies in skilled workers, as well as the competitive price compared to the local market in Ukraine. But on top of that, we can also compete on quality with some of the offshoring destinations like Asia or Latin America, and we definitely have almost the same time zone, which creates a great communication overlap. So, for example, we provide data engineering and data consulting services, and like just 2 or 3 years ago, the UK companies were hesitant to share their data outside the UK, especially outside the EU, and it was nearly impossible after the GDPR was introduced. And so this agreement will definitely help to build this awareness and trust between businesses in the UK and Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you very much for these thoughts, and I'll ask Pete to contribute to that as well. Pete, what's your thoughts on that?
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for inviting us to the presentation today. I would echo some of the comments that we've already heard today, but one of the things that we've looked at Innovecs. Innovecs is a fairly well-established company. We have established processes. We're delivering solutions globally, and we're dealing with all sorts of high-end customers. One of the things we've seen a niche certainly within the UK, where there is a gap, as Kerry mentioned earlier, there's a gap at the moment, and that's what we're actually looking to fulfill. One of the things that came out in a couple of recent surveys is that top CEOs really want to see on, and that's really what we do, to come in and offer a service which is really second to none. I think that's where we have the advantage. Is we're closer to home. Ukraine is far closer to home than the Far Eastern companies. People in UK feel far more comfortable dealing with the Ukrainian company than perhaps they would somewhere that's in a totally different time zone, as you mentioned before. So we've the company started talking to a number of companies and already got a great response and receiving really good response from people. And just one other point I wanted to mention is that it doesn't always come down to price. We're not going in and suggesting that we're going to be the cheapest or under anybody or anything. It's really based on quality of service and professionalism. And I think the level of professionalism that you get from Ukrainian companies, and certainly from Innovecs, is far, far higher than other companies. And again, something that Kerry mentioned at the very beginning, perhaps there are some companies in the UK that have dropped the ball, and they're just not really taking care of their customers in the way that we do. And we're very keen to do an excellent job, which is what we do. So I think there are huge opportunities out there, and we're really looking forward to growing us in the UK.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Pete. Arthur, I'll ask you now represent a company that is focused on web development and sort of offers creative services. How do you see the situation from your perspective? Arthur, can you hear us? Okay, I don't think we can hear you. All right, so I'll come back to you in a second, and I'll speak to the fintech company and also the engineering company first, because they are sort of on the border of those IT related. Are you with us now? No, I can't hear you. Okay, all right. So let's look at. Let's speak to Dan briefly. Dan, what's the situation like for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. Good evening. Yeah, I think it's you're absolutely right. We're on the edge. We are at the same time a technology company and providing ways to pay in different countries around the world. I think there are a lot of opportunities, and this trade agreement as a framework is bi-directional. It's not only for just inviting talent to use the talent inside the country and supply IT services to help UK companies to scale or to go to other markets, access other markets. It's also about another way opportunity is that UK businesses can reach the markets here, and Ukraine could be a gateway or the trusted partner to this part of the world. And it's raise a market, and okay, maybe it's not that big as the neighboring countries' markets to Ukraine, for example, like Poland or Russia or Turkey. But it's still a market, and the potential in the market is growing. And as a fintech, what we enable is to enable payments by providing connectivity to almost 95% of Ukrainian acquirers and payment providers, simply with one integration, and vice versa. So our strategy is also bi-directional, is that we can help UK businesses to access consumers here, customers, and the same way we're helping Ukrainian and neighboring countries' businesses to access foreign market, including UK, which is, I would say, the world's fintech capital, and it's important to be there. And our company has as well a company in UK, and we're already working in the UK market.
Thank you very much. Alexander, Alexander is the CEO of an engineering company and a construction company. So how do you see that from your perspective?
Thank you, Andrew. I see a really big opportunity for us as engineers, and also in a combination with tech companies, because if we are talking about industrial strategy of UK and digital build Britain, in the UK you have quite a big challenges to digitalize construction and building sectors. And if we are talking about digital twins and digital construction, it's very difficult to say, is it still engineering or is it IT? It's becoming more and more IT, and if we are combining this effort like we are already doing with Sigma Software in the other markets like Sweden, then we can contribute to the industrial strategy of the UK with our talents, because it's quite a challenging task, and you need a lot of digital driven people in order to make this transformation happen. And also in respect to be directional benefits, we also looking for the investors from UK and developers who will invest in Ukraine, and we can support by the professional engineers in Ukraine. So this is definitely a win-win approach for us in future.
Okay, so I'll have a question for all of you right now. Actually, Kerry mentioned that she said at some point that Ukraine is still not visible enough in the United Kingdom. But I would also like to echo Alexandra's word. She mentioned, this image thing. So why do you think now? Is it like better? There are more opportunities now compared to before? And what kind of obstacles were out there before that are gone now from your perspective? Anyone? Not everyone at once, please.
Why now?
Alexandra, you
let me try.
I'll just finish the question.
Somebody trying to... Oh, Pete.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting question because I was asked something very similar the other day of what obstacles there are. And really, there are no obstacles now. With Brexit being finished, that there is no problem and there's no obstacles. We've been in business in the UK for some time. I'm based in the UK, and really the obstacles there were before. The only obstacles really that could happen is perhaps just the odd time zone difference of a couple of hours. But in terms of what obstacles could be, maybe with travel, that's possibly one thing, and COVID driven, and that's going to be temporary. But we don't really see any problems to that. Delivering is certainly done remotely. I'm based here, so if people need people, we can very quickly plane and actually go and see. So, from our perspective, we see very few obstacles. In fact, since Brexit's finished, I would say there are far less.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how about this image issue? I remember I spoke to the CEO of HSBC in Poland, actually, and Poland is a huge market nearby, and this was a few years ago, and he said that people in the UK have an idea of Poland from between 5 and 20 years ago. So this we're talking about Poland, which is an EU country. And Ukraine, is still not an EU country. And, Alexandra mentioned those, issues like corruption and so on, which are changing, of course. But do you think that people in the UK have to or should somehow be exposed more to what Ukraine can offer, and how to do that? Anyone? Oh, Alexandra.
I'm past that one again, like.
Yeah, I think that's of course it's important to change the situation inside the country, but also important to broadcast our changes to other countries and to the UK as well. And of course, we have a lot changes, a lot of interesting new initiatives in our country, a new Ministry of Digital Transformation, first of all, Expert Promotion Office, which helps us in this mission as well. And I think it's also important to support such initiatives as our Ukrainian trade mission to the UK, as, for example, Ukrainian pavilions at different exhibitions and conferences. So we have to be bold and brave to speak about our changes, about our opportunities, what we offer to the world. And I think it's, the phrase is help me, rather to be rather than to see. I forgot this phrase. Yeah, so I think it's important to be and to be seen as a country with a good reputation. So the work inside of country is important, but we have not forget about the PR of our country, the building new image of it. And I personally involved in different initiatives which helps this image. I was organizing London Tech Week Ukrainian event together with the Embassy of Ukraine to the UK and with Expert Promotion Office and Kyiv IT Cluster. I was one of the organizers of Ukrainian Pavilion in Israel and at Web Summit and so on and so forth. So it's really important steps and we should make it step by step, like baby steps probably. And I hope and I'm sure that that will help to bring us more clients to our country, more partnerships, investments, and new good connections.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone would like to add to this reputation building? Oh, Dan, please.
Yeah, I just you remember it one moment. It was in 2019 before all this corona crisis, and the November Web Summit, the largest tech conference on the planet, and we were together, right? And do you remember that moment that from the stage they announced Ukraine and raise your hands, and it was like a surprise. The
summit,
the first moment, very beginning, and we raised our hands, and they just announced on the stage that it was that time the largest community came from Ukraine and joined the summit at that time. So it's extremely big country in terms of population, right, in territory in Europe, and it's plays significant role in tech. If I'm right, so this is China's #1 outsourcing country, second in India and Ukraine. Yeah, could you imagine that we have a population more than 40 million people and not a billion people, right? So that we have concentration of the talent, right? And we are able to build a lot of technologies, products, and deliver things. And we're already on the way to compete with global players in terms of, like, we are a software vendor, we are not a company that provides IT services. So we are marketing our product in the UK and other countries and working with different people to help them to scale their business in other countries. So it's very exciting when you're talking to British clients, and we're in the same time zone almost, and 2 hours difference, almost nothing. So we can support the business, and we can support their business, and we can support British business here. So it's I think that's a good chance, and there is no obstacles in tech industries, but because everybody's already understand that it doesn't matter where the vendor is, if it's a good vendor or not. If it's a vendor in the United States, it's a good vendor, you can work with this vendor. If it's bad vendor and the product is bad and the services of this vendor are bad, so there is not why you should work with this vendor. Yeah, you have a lot of opportunities, you have a lot of competitors, competitive products, and so on. So I think our niche is what we can offer is the competitive services, competitive product, and I think there is no obstacles, at least in IT or software. Maybe there is some nuances in culture. Yeah, absolutely, but
not so much.
not so much. I mean,
Yeah, and we are ready to cooperate. It's important because this trend is in unity. And talking about the experience of our tech people, tech sphere in Ukraine, it started in 90s. So as for the moment, we are quite mature. We understand all the processes. We integrate the compliance into our companies, bringing them from European, from the US companies, from our clients. That is why to work with us is really easy. So yeah, we understand business processes and we help businesses to solve their tasks with technology solutions.
Any other solutions that we have to increase that trust and
legal?
So can I jump in here, Andrew?
Okay. I wanted just to add, you know, that we had all of this. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there seems to be a terrible lag and echo. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to jump in there because this is my recent personal experience with Ukraine. So I'm a major fan. I think there are no obstacles. I think you have lots of opportunities. I've visited Ukraine several times and been really impressed by everybody I've met and I've seen. So we did invite Ukraine to join the Global Technology and Business Services Council because we wanted to be inclusive with Ukraine. IT Association Ukraine accepted that invitation. But then they've done nothing with it. They've attended none of the events, they've marked none of the meetings. So I've got India, I've got Latin America, I've got the United States, I've got Sri Lanka, I've got South Africa, we've got all of these, we've got ABSL representing, Poland, we've got IBES representing Bulgaria. We invited IT Association Ukraine to get involved, and we've run a couple of brilliant events that look at the future of the industry, which I think is really important for Ukraine to join that conversation. Where is this industry going? 2 weeks ago, we had a fantastic event on impact sourcing, which is all about ethical sourcing in this industry. And the next event we've got is on open talent and the future of gig, which is going to be the biggest game changer. And Ukraine has not participated at all in any of those conversations. So I think it's a really missed opportunity for Ukraine. And I'd like to call out and see if anybody wants to pick up the mantle there and bring Ukraine back in. But in addition to that, I just wanted to pick up a couple of points. What Peter said is absolutely right. You don't want to sell on being cheap. You want to sell on quality, and I think that's a really key message that Ukraine has got. There is the quality message there. So do stick with that. And then my other observation, just in case I don't get to say anything else this evening, is you've got to promote brand Ukraine. So one of my concerns about Ukraine was competition between some of the regions and the promotion of Lviv IT cluster versus what Kiev can do. I think it's just really, really important message that you come together as promoting Ukraine and what Ukraine's got to offer. So I just wanted to get a couple of points over there.
Thank you very much, Kerry.
I'm sorry about this situation with IT Ukraine. Sorry, Andrew, interrupting you. I just wanted to say that, yeah, sorry about the situation with IT Ukraine Association. I personally know people from there, and I will clarify what happened and come back to you, Kerry, because it's really strange situation. It's their work to represent Ukraine on such events.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Yeah, so hope we will have a chance, one more chance, to join similar events.
Okay, any other comments here?
Yes,
related to Maria?
Yes. I wanted to tell that, we had all of these political events in Ukraine that maybe negatively a bit affected our reputation as a country. But even from all of these events, we got some experience. And now we are going to the country which have this challenging situation with Brexit, and we will bring with our business all of this background, how to deal with changes and challenges in your country. So we are adapting this, our companies to the situation, to terms on markets very fast, because we had all of this background. And the second thing that I think that is very important in case of our entering the UK market, we as the law firm, we are dealing day by day with companies that are coming to us to become compliant with different European regulations, with UK regulations, if they are working with this market. So from like my point of view, from this year, the last 2 years, the number of companies, Ukrainian companies, who want to become compliant with all of these regulations, it is increasing, very fastly increasing, and it means that we are not just entering this market, we're entering it with all of the compliance solutions that would be really simple to adopt it to already work in UK business, to cooperate with compliant business. It is much easier than other way. So thank you.
Okay, perfect there. Thank you very much for that thought. So just to sort of sum up, I would like each of you to literally come up with a sentence or two encouraging British entrepreneurs and companies to look at Ukraine and at what companies in Ukraine can offer them, and also how they can help, offer better services for their clients. Who would like to start?
May I start?
Oh, Taras, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Well, I just wanted also to add on the previous question and to this one. Yes, I can agree we can't probably afford an expensive, public awareness campaign on our advantages on IT. Probably that's true. And for the moment, we use, the grapevine. When the happy client tells another client, and you mentioned the HSBC, the majority of high street banks, they work with Ukrainian developers. Probably that's well-known fact, and most of them work and do. Just several months ago, we visited Lord Mayor of City of London, and the first question he asked us is that, I know that Ukraine is strong on fintech. Can we enhance this cooperation? Because I know that your developers are very well. And so, a lot of UK companies are cooperating with Ukrainians and do, the world-class products. For example, we are very strong in science. In this June, the UK company is going to launch, for example, a moon rover, and R&D center is in Ukraine, and they use the Ukrainian engineers to do that, and so many examples of that. So I do hope that we will do everything we can to deliver these positive messages to UK business and to explain where we are strong. And just to end, probably I just want to reiterate again is that there are no more legal problems or whatsoever. So we are on level playing field with other competitors. And now it depends on us how we use and benefit from that.
Thank you very much, Taras. I know that Arthur's mic is now working, and he hasn't had a chance to say anything so far. So I would like to briefly ask him, what he believes Ukraine can, or how he believes Ukraine can help UK companies. Arthur?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I hope. Great. So we have been working with UK market for 4 or 5 years, and we haven't had any problems with them. Usually we work in e-commerce, where we help UK companies, UK e-commerce brands grow from the local markets to the international ones. And we don't have any problems. We just should start working with them. And while after we started and building this collaboration with clients, then we continue work for age. So no one, we don't lose any client from the UK. We continue working with current clients and only bring new ones. No, because they already know what Ukraine tech sector can do. Maybe one thing, some of our clients don't like to share experience working with us, with other friends or other company. Maybe they want to keep the secrets by their own. But globally, everything good. We can work. Maybe you mentioned it about one thing that about price. We try to tell our clients that we're not cheap but affordable. It's very good case to show them that you can compete with another countries. I think that's all.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. We actually have a very similar question, in our chat related to being competitive versus other non-EU countries, and I'm talking about Ukraine being competitive against other EU countries and non-EU countries. How would you see that? We talked about the price, that it doesn't always matter, or it's not always the key point. What other aspects make companies from Ukraine more competitive than other players in the market?
I think quality. We usually provide a good quality for our clients, and I know a lot of companies in Ukraine that provide a good quality. It's our internal market is very competitive. You could live here only if you provide good quality. That's why we can. We can compare. It's our additional value between our country neighbors.
But is that, and I'm directing this question to everyone on the panel, do you think that this quality is better than what other companies in other countries, non-EU and EU countries offer, or is it where is this competitive advantage of Ukrainian companies? Dan, go ahead.
The price. It's about the value. Your customer. You are creating the value. If you can bring more value to the customer, then he pays for this value. So this is your competitive advantage. So in general, right? And its price is not always matters, right? So for instance, as a technology vendor, we have a software development in house, right? And but we have to pay competitive salaries because otherwise our engineers will work for IT servicing companies that are widely presented here on the stage. So and in other cases, the neighboring countries you have to pay the equivalent, otherwise you will lose brains and they will go to another markets for to be better paid or looking for better future. But in any case, from the day A, you should be competitive. And what is a cool thing with the software is that relatively Ukraine is a small market for IT vendors. So nobody is thinking about from the day A that there will be particular focus only on Ukrainian markets. They're thinking about to go to the other markets globally, to United States, to the EU, to the UK. So I think this is from the starting point. It's our I would say IT businesses here thinks about the quality and how they will compete and what the value they can create their product and so on. So I think it's a complex issue, not about the price.
So can we say that Ukrainian companies basically give or provide more value for the same amount of money? Is that the competitive advantage?
Yeah, I think in general, the quality of IT products or services it was very high. It creates more, the value is very high, and the price you pay is less. So I think it's a benefit. So a delta, that's really a good thing for Ukrainian businesses.
Thank you. Anyone would like to add to that? Alexandra?
I'd like to add, yeah. Agree with Dan, and if you're talking about product companies, we have good examples of companies like Grammarly, MacPo, PetCube. They are world-known product companies, and I'm sure Corefy will be one of them soon as well. And if you're talking about service companies, we are not only IT outsourcing or IT consulting companies. We are providing more value to our clients with helping them to connect to partners, to find investors, to find clients for our customers, and to help them to solve their problems, their tasks. For example, we provide business analysts who can dig deeper into the project of the client, not just programmers who will write a code for this project. So these services are far more wider than it was like in 90s, for example, because the industry is growing and our expertise is growing, and it's important to know that IT services is not just IT outsourcing anymore.
My question is also, how this compares with other countries around Ukraine, because if you are a UK company, you might also want to see what you can get from other places as well. So, how does this competitiveness present itself compared to other markets? And I saw Alex was raising his hand.
Yeah, I think I have a few thoughts to add to this point. So Alexandra named a few A-class, top-notch world companies, and why I think it's important to learn why those companies trust their people, which are based in Ukraine. And again, I believe the answer is that because they are all well-educated and intelligent people, because they have they have good quality of education, which probably one of the best things that we have that we received in legacy from the Soviet Union.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you very much for that. So what I would like to do now is just to give every single speaker a 30-second slot to summarize and to pitch their offer to UK companies, UK tech companies, and also IT services buyers. So, Alex, you were just speaking, so I'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. As I mentioned before, AltexSoft is a data engineering and analytics company. So we build anything starting from data infrastructure, collecting data and helping to manage this data in the right way. We also do business intelligence. We do predictive and prescriptive analytics. We enable, intelligent automation of repetitive tasks, and we help our clients to cut operation costs. So we're also capable to build AI products on top of that, which solve, really complex problems of personalization, decision support, sentiment analysis. So basically, data is a new oil, and we help our customers to work with their data.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Alex. I'll ask Pete now. Pete, are you with us?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, as I said, Innovecs is an established company. I'm actually based in the UK, so we already have a footing here. So the reason to use a like us, we already have a very strong track record. People have already mentioned quality from Ukraine. That's what British people believe in, actually. They believe in quality, and they believe that Ukraine has quality, and bring that quality here. And I think the third thing is that we actually do deliver, and we deliver on time, and that's the big thing. We can give quality, and we deliver on time. Price is never an issue. It's a matter of delivering a project, doing what we say we're going to do, and doing it really professionally as well. And I think that's the key differentiator for us as a company, and also for Ukraine as a country as well, is the fact that anything that comes out of Ukraine is considered to be incredibly professional and very, very high quality. And it really makes me proud to work for a company like Innovecs and to be able to offer something like that. So that's what we're looking to do, and we're hoping to grow the business here really well too.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Alexandra.
Thank you. So I would say come to Ukraine as soon as borders will be open, and we'll be happy to help your enterprise to become digital, and we'll be happy if you are a startup to help you grow faster in more efficient way. Sigma is your reliable tech partner. Thanks.
Thank you, Alexandra. Arthur, what's your pitch?
My main message: don't afraid working with Ukraine. Just try, and after that you will realize that quality is really good, and you can rely on our companies. I totally agree with previous speakers, and believe a lot of UK companies use Ukrainian teams and Ukrainian specialists.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Dan, what's your pitch?
Thank you. So as the technology company that helps online businesses with the payment technologies to access to another market, so welcome UK businesses to Ukraine, and I hope to see more businesses, Ukrainian businesses in the UK. So thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Alexander,
Yeah, I represent engineers from Ukraine, and we are quite innovative engineers in construction industry. So we create information models of the physical assets and help with the digital transformation of the buildings and industrial projects. So very welcome.
thank you. And you definitely want to work with Maria. She can definitely walk you through legal issues. Maria?
Yes, sure. And I'm also sure that any UK company that will start to work with any of the participants of our trade mission will get the added value from this cooperation. And also our company, we provide legal services on, first of all, data protection compliance, personal data protection compliance. And we help companies to run their online activities compliantly with requirements of markets that they are targeting. And from the point that all of our team members, we're from product IT business, and we have all of this background with working with product IT business. We're always finding a balance between the operational needs of business and legal requirements. So I think that this cooperation with our company will help you to reach all your main targets.
Thank you. Taras, any final thoughts? You deal with British entrepreneurs on a regular basis.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, I would like to come back to the strategic partnership agreement. You know, I truly believe that this is like another convincing argument, you know, to strengthen cooperation, not only in IT or tech, or it's in all other sectors and spheres as well. And the more we trade, the more we cooperate on user sectors. Well, it's directly, you know, impacts on the computer services as well. We do already see a huge rise in growth in our exports. Total account is like 25% for the last 5 years. So just remember that the agreement is like a two-way road. So Ukraine is open for UK investments and exports as well. And we are really happy to work with UK business.
Fantastic. And the very final word for Kerry. You said that this could be your only comment earlier, but it's not. So I would like to hear from you at the very end.
Okay, so I can say the opportunities are huge. I can say that the work that I've seen delivered by Ukrainian companies has been incredibly positive. As I say, a number of Ukrainian companies have won awards from the work that they've done for UK companies. We've got something called the GSA Partner Platform, and I know there are a number of Ukrainian companies that are ranked really highly in there. So I understand, sorry, I can't remember who it was that made the comment that customers sometimes want to keep it secret. We're trying to change that. We believe it's really important that that the community has a voice. So we've created with an American partner a platform where service providers around the world can post their profiles and then get reviewed by the customers. So people know that these companies are doing some great work. We've got some fantastic Ukrainian companies performing incredibly well in the partner platform. So all I can say is keep up the good work, and I think that the opportunities are significant for Ukraine to do more and more business with the UK.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And my final message to all British entrepreneurs who don't yet use services or do not work yet with Ukrainian companies. If you haven't been to Ukraine, definitely visit when it's possible, of course. And I am quite sure that you will be convinced that you should work with Ukrainian companies as well. Thank you very much for the whole chat. It was a pleasure to chair it today, and see you in Ukraine.
Andrew, let me take a few seconds and to say thank you to Andrew, who was moderating and who is our media partner, Emerging Europe. Thank you so much. And also, I'd like to say thank you to all the companies who joined the mission: Innovecs, Avitar, Tebin, AltexSoft, Corefy, GenovaWebArt, and to our partners, Expert Promotion Office, the Embassy of Ukraine to the UK, and USAID, Competitive Economy Program of Ukraine. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for this brilliant venue who provided streaming today in the hub by Innovecs. And bye. Hope to see you all later.
Welcome.
Welcome.